Mickey is proud of her romance column in school, which she writes with the pen name of Juliet. When Noah, who acts as Not Your Romeo, attacks her thoughts, she gets conflicted about her feelings. Mickey dances her heart out in the school as her best friend, Kate, records her. Kate jokes about using this video as evidence when men in lab coats come for her. Mickey claims she's doing this for her psychology finals. She wants to see the willingness in people to embrace joy. Kate reminds her classes haven't started and that she doesn't have a psych class this semester. Mickey doesn't understand why more people don't like to dance like no one is watching. Some girls are reading Juliet's column in the school paper, which is secretly being written by Mickey. Eve loves Juliet's romance column since it got her through freshman year. Mickey asks Eve to share what Juliet has said this time. Eve repeats Juliet's thoughts about there being walls between men and women. Juliet thinks the true Romeo would bridge those walls and take her to the road of happiness. Mickey loves hearing people quote her and wants more praises. Kate drags her away and claims she also tried romance once. She fell for a boy in 2nd grade who still makes her feel like she has cooties. Mickey gets excited about a mail and runs home to her mother, Tony. Mickey usually just comes home for laundry, but she's excited to show Tony the mail. Mickey has become a finalist for the Peely Scholarship, which will help in grad school. She got selected because of her columns, and Professor Murrow thinks her articles will be enough to give her the edge. Tony wishes Mickey's dad was there, because he would have been very proud. Mickey thinks he would be prouder of Tony, since she's going back to school. Tony remembers how encouraging he was, and Mickey remembers them as the perfect pair. But Mickey thinks Tony is working too hard before the classes have even started. She asks Tony to loosen up and focus on living her life. Tony's books are all color-coordinated and neatly stacked. Mickey asks Tony to promise she will do one crazy thing the next day. She asks Tony to look for signs and let the universe guide her. Tony agrees to do that if Mickey does one sensible thing. Mickey feels bringing her laundry to her mom is sensible enough. Mickey and Kate discuss if a character will ever find love again. Mickey is thinking of a line from the Silmarillion about the worth of people. Noah has overheard them and claims the quote is from the Two Towers and not Silmarillion. Kate doesn't like him mansplaining to Mickey and feels she knows everything about the Inklings. He seems to know more, but Mickey asks him to not forget Dorothy Sayers. He claims she wasn't officially a member, but Mickey thinks it's only because she was a woman. Noah agrees with that and formally introduces himself. When he learns Mickey's last name is Sayers, he thinks she would have been eligible for the Incurs. Tony is having trouble locating her class when Oscar offers to help. Since the numbers are not in order, he explains they're trying to make students follow their instincts. Oscar offers to take her to the class, but she claims she can find it. She then remembers she promised Mickey one crazy thing. She asks Oscar to show her around. He asks if she works there, because he was hoping to see her around campus. She claims she's an evaluator. He thinks that will be awkward, because he's the professor teaching the class she is looking for. Kate and Mickey think Tony shouldn't have lied to Oscar, but she was just trying something crazy. Kate asks if Oscar is cute, and how he reacted when he learned she was a student. Tony kept her mouth shut when he called out her name for the attendance. She told him she's Betty White, and her parents named her after the Golden Girls. Mickey's classmates are worried and want to write a letter to the editor. They inform her about the new romance column on the back page by a man using the pseudonym, Not Your Romeo. He has attacked Juliet in his column by claiming men shouldn't leap over walls put up by women. He doesn't think any woman is worth playing these games for, and suggests tearing down the wall. She texts Kate in anger about the column. Professor Johnson from her elementary ed class asks her to focus. She asks Kate how much money she will have if she has $5 and asks her father for another $5. Kate claims she will only have $5 because her father doesn't listen. The professor isn't pleased, but Hugo laughs at her joke. Mickey shows Professor Murrow some GIFs and is frustrated about the Romeo column attacking her. Murrow thinks healthy debate is good for the print media, but Mickey is determined to retaliate with her next column. Murrow informs her there's another finalist for the Peely Scholarship. It's the same student who writes the Not Your Romeo column, but Murrow doesn't reveal who he is. The Peely committee has asked for a debate between them, which will serve as a tiebreaker for the scholarship. Murrow claims he will find a way to reveal who they are beyond their bylines. Tony comes to find Oscar in his office, and he calls her Rose. He explains that was the name of the fictional character Betty White plays. She is there for a question from his class. He wonders how many more observations she will do, since she has been there for 2 weeks. Tony claims she needs to be there all semester, since her company is very thorough. Jim Marcus from Ancient Languages informs Oscar about their meeting. He introduces himself to Tony, but Oscar claims she's Katharine Hepburn. He explains he had to hide her identity because Jim hates class evaluators. He wants Jim and all the others to like her. When Mickey and Kate are planning their counterattack, Noah starts quoting Lord of the Rings for Mickey. Kate thinks he's having a stroke, but Mickey recognizes the passage. When Mickey replies with another passage, he asks her to meet him on Tuesday. As Mickey blushes, Kate thinks that was a very cute nerd moment. Mickey has made some animal figures to confuse Not Your Romeo about the rules of the debate. She thinks Romeo is late and finds Noah there. She apologizes for not replying to his text, but he claims to understand she's busy. When he leaves, Hugo comes to meet them and claims he's not your Romeo. Kate recognizes him from her elementary ed class. She makes a comment about lacrosse, but Mickey wants his agreement on the debate rules first. He seems confused about the drawings, so Mickey feels sure it will be easy to defeat him. Kate and Tony ask her to not underestimate him. Mickey feels like he's stealing her scholarship and asks Tony to be more of a friend and not her mom. Oscar is fascinated by how many notes Tony takes. She claims she ran into another student, Tony. Oscar asks her to make Tony come to class because participation is an important part of the grade. She claims Oscar put a note in Tony's essay about a poster for an academic fair. He thinks it must have been a good essay, and she claims she got an A. She asks about the fair, but Oscar isn't supposed to talk about other students' work. When Professor Johnson comes for class, Oscar claims Tony is Audrey Hepburn. He also claims her parents were big Sabrina fans. When she mentions teenage witches, she realizes it's not the same Sabrina. She reminds Oscar he called her Katharine earlier, but he feels it's getting tough to keep up with her false identity. When Kate misses her target in archery, Hugo asks her to relax her shoulders. He wonders why she's always angry and never wants to speak to him. She claims she's interested in things like art, poetry, and beauty that he wouldn't understand. He takes the bow from her and claims he knows about beauty. He thinks beauty is in nature and informs her about a day he was out in the woods. He lost track of time and soon saw a deer coming out of a tree. He remembers the deer being tall and majestic and felt surreal when it was just the two of them. He claims they made eye contact, and he shot him straight in the heart. After their date, Noah asks if Mickey has seen the original TV movie. She has read the book and couldn't read it again without crying. Noah doesn't get it emotionally because he's too young and hasn't lost enough. Mickey feels she understands loss and talks about the time she lost her dad when she was 9. She was angry at God for a long time for giving him cancer, but she knows it's a process and still misses him. She remembers him being perfect and wants to have the kind of love he and her mom shared. Noah claims his faith has never been tested and takes her hand to walk around. Kate knows Mickey sneaked in late and asks what they were doing. They have been seeing each other regularly every week, and Kate doesn't believe they're only talking. Mickey just claims Noah is the perfect gentleman. Hugo comes for a truce with them about the debate, but they feel he's a romance ender. Mickey gets competitive and thinks they should go public with their identities. She gets on a table to announce that she's Juliet. She introduces Hugo as not your Romeo and explains they will have a debate next month. She also wants to amuse the crowd with a preview of the debate right there. She teases Hugo about being scared of exposure. She attacks Romeo's opinions from the column and claims he doesn't know romance helps lower stress. She thinks he's afraid of romance because it's a confident booster for women. He feels overwhelmed, but Kate asks him to give it a shot. He claims Plato thought romantic love was horrific and that it made people do horrible things. She intimidates him with that point too and makes him doubt himself. Hugo claims Plato thought brotherly love was more ideal. Mickey thinks Plato was probably friend-zoned a lot and couldn't get a girlfriend. She thinks the situation is same with Hugo, which is why he is bitter towards women. Kate also feels like Mickey is being too mean, but she keeps teasing him about not having a girlfriend. When he leaves after getting embarrassed, Mickey feels this debate will be very easy. Kate doesn't think she needed to be so personal. Even Noah shakes his head in disapproval. Oscar calls Tony to her office to meet Dr. Linda West. She's the president of the East Coast Educational Evaluators Association and apparently her accreditor. Tony officially introduces herself as Betty and claims they haven't met. Linda thinks they haven't met because she just got elected. She wants to know more about Tony's chapter and takes out her notepad. Tony texts Mickey to get all the flavors of ice cream, so Mickey and Kate understand she must be in serious trouble. Donnie reminds them that girls aren't allowed at that floor, but Kate shouts at him for not calling her a woman. They know he's right, but Mickey wants to celebrate her victory with Noah. Since he's not responding, Mickey has come to find him. She admits she went overboard with Hugo, but feels she was caught up in the moment. She promises to apologize the next time she sees him. Noah finds them outside his room and doesn't think they are allowed. He doesn't understand why Mickey wants to celebrate how she embarrassed someone in public. He doesn't feel the guy needed to be treated that way. He asks Mickey to leave. Kate barges into his room despite Noah's protests. They notice someone under a pile of clothes and realize Noah's roommate is Hugo. When Kate checks some notes, she realizes it's worse than they thought. She explains to Mickey that Hugo was poor at the debate because he's not Romeo. Noah is Romeo, and he's writing another column. Noah realized Mickey was Juliet when he went to the debate prep meeting. He didn't want to jeopardize anything, so he sent Hugo to pretend he's Romeo. He feels it's better if what they have is jeopardized now that he has seen her real side. She reminds him that she opened up about her father to him. She feels betrayed that he was lying the whole time. She thinks he wanted a leg up on the debate by dating her. She storms out of the room, and Kate follows her. Kate keeps texting Mickey after that, but she doesn't turn up at school and seems to have disappeared. She tries to give her space, but she also checks up on Tony to see if things are fine. Kate turns up at the house to find Mickey all dressed up formally. She has been dressed like that for days, even if she is never that groomed. Tony claims she did the laundry, mopped floors, and scrubbed toilets too. She's also making color-coded plans for the future organized by cost and probability. Some of them include hacking into Noah's financial aid and doubling his student loans. Another one is about hiring an assassin. Kate knows she must be hurting a lot to start organizing like her mother. Mickey admits he hurt her, and she needs to fantasize about hurting him back in some way. She claims she's not coming back to campus and has a new career goal to destroy him. Kate reminds her of the carefree girl she used to be. She asks her to not let the men win. Kate thinks Noah is roaming around the campus like nothing happened, and Mickey also needs to get back to her life. Mickey likes that plan because it will help her prepare for the debate so she can humiliate Noah in public. Kate calls Hugo at the archery range and claims Mickey is miserable. She knows Mickey really likes Noah and is having a hard time hating him. She knows Noah is not happy too, and they're supposed to be together. She plans to bring them together. She asks Mickey to stay with her in the library because she has a creepy guy as a study partner. It turns out to be Hugo, who has conveniently brought Noah along. Noah tries to leave, but Hugo claims he can't be alone with them. Mickey tries to leave too, but Kate convinces her. Mickey taunts Noah about not having a sense of romance. He reminds her that most of history thought of love as a sickness. He thinks it drives people to make stupid decisions, but she feels it makes people do impossible things. She takes the example of Romeo and Juliet, but he points out that it's a tragedy. He feels Juliet should have made the better decision of marrying the man her dad chose for her. Mickey thinks it's even worse to live in a tragedy than perishing in one. He claims there are worse things than arranged marriages, but she picks up a point about dowry. She reminds him that many countries sell women like cattle. He keeps claiming romance makes people do stupid things, like him dating her. They only stops when Yolanda the librarian shushes them. Mickey threatened the paper to publish a 2-page column on why all men are nauseating. Kate thinks all men and women are united against how much they hate the column. Mickey claims she was just angry, so Kate suggests watching a movie. Tony has been invited to a university fundraiser that night. Kate teases her about Oscar, and if he is still pretending she is one of the Hepburns. Mickey leaves when she remembers more ideas for the same list for her next column. Kate texts Hugo to initiate Plan B. Tony arrives at the fundraiser and looks around for Oscar. The president of the university, Francis, thinks Tony is Audrey and has heard a lot about her from Oscar. He has claimed she will make a huge donation that day and wants to know more about Tony's father. When she's confused, Francis claims Oscar told her that her father is a Honeymooners fan. Tony gives Oscar a look because his lies seem to have gone too far. He has made her the daughter of the founder of Meadows Meats. Kate brings Mickey to a screening of the Bakshi animated Lord of the Rings, for which she has been waiting for years. Mickey feels worse when she notices they're sitting next to Noah and Hugo. She wants to leave, but Kate reminds her this movie will not come again to the theaters. Mickey tries to find another seat, but the whole place is packed. She reluctantly sits down next to Kate when Hugo offers her popcorn. Kate claims she's starving and starts sharing it with Hugo. Noah has a problem with her interrupting the movie, so she asks him to switch seats. He refuses to sit next to Mickey, but can't handle Kate's rage of being separated from food. When he sits next to Mickey, she starts complaining about the armrest. Chuck, the man behind them, asks them to stay quiet. He has waited for the movie screening for 10 years. When Mickey calls Noah a manspreader, He gets angry about how all men are the same to her. He tries to mansplain manspreading to her. She grabs popcorn, and they start throwing it at Chuck. They get banned from the theater for life, and Kate knows they will have to initiate Plan C. Tony shows Mickey the chart she has made for all the people who think she's Audrey Hepburn or someone else. She also thinks they might have to fund a new athletic center because of Oscar's lies. She even jokes about donating Mickey's kidneys. Mickey reminds her she just had to do one crazy thing, but this seems to have spiraled out of control. She also feels something is going on with Kate and thinks she's setting her up. Kate shouts out to Hugo when she's walking on campus with Mickey. Kate claims that she likes Hugo and has been trying to get his attention all week. She asks Mickey to not blow it for her this time and walk across campus without creating a scene. Kate seems sure Noah and Mickey are buying their lie. Hugo lends Kate his coat. He knows a man who likes a woman would do that. Mickey and Noah are afraid the feelings might be real between their friends. They know Hugo and Kate don't usually fall for someone. While Kate hates romance and Juliet's column, Mickey is surprised to learn Hugo loves her column. Noah explains that he started his column because of Hugo, because their arguments about romance gave him ideas. Hugo's favorite movie is still The Notebook. Mickey remembers Kate mentioning that Hugo is a hunter. Noah doesn't think that should mean he can't like romance. He doesn't like her stereotyping Hugo, so they decide it's better if they don't talk. Mickey asks Kate to be prepared as she destroys Hugo's best friend at the debate. Mickey is ready to crush Noah when Kate notices something is wrong. Hugo informs them that Noah's parents have been in a car accident. He is texting his brother, Greg. They are being taken to the hospital. Mickey also gets a painful flashback of the time she went there with her dad. She composes herself and claims she will drive Noah to his parents. She doesn't care that it's 4 hours away. She asks Hugo to pack an overnight bag for Noah. She also asks Kate to tell Murrow to cancel the debate that day and plans to get her mom's car. Mickey silently drops Noah to the hospital, and he claims Greg can take him from there. She asks him to text her with all the updates and assures him she's there as a friend. Mickey is sobbing and praying in church when Kate finds her. Mickey knows from Noah that his parents are safe and are coming home from the hospital soon. Noah plans to stay there for a week to help out Greg. Mickey knows they pray only when bad things happen, and she stopped praying completely when she was angry at Noah. She knows it's because God would have told her to grow up. Mickey wants to hear the story of how Tony met her dad. Tony claims she was doing books for the company he worked for, and they met at his office. Mickey remembers them meeting at a Christmas party, but that was just the first time Tony realized she was in love with him. Tony explains it was never love at first sight. She found her dad very annoying when they first met. It took her 6 months to fall in love with him, but he always claimed he was sure from the first day. Tony doubts that because she was his nemesis because of how disorganized he was. Mickey doesn't remember them as opposites, but Tony knows it's because of her selective memory. Tony asks Mickey to remember all the ways in which they were different. She knows Mickey's idea of love, and the romance stories she talks about are very misleading. She thinks the romance stories only cover how two people meet, and not what happens after that. Tony loves romance, but thinks it's more about two people working on each other and their relationships. Mickey doesn't think love should be about work, but Tony reminds her it's more about the willingness to work and improve for each other. She also clarifies that she loves Mickey's column, but always thought it was very naive. Noah is back in school and worried about the big debate the next day. Mickey loved the video of his mom moving around. He thanks her for everything and smiles at her. Tony finally confesses everything to Oscar, who knew about her all along. He explains that he saw the form with her name on the first day itself. He was confused when she didn't answer her roll call, but went along with the pretense. He always found her cute and wanted to see how long she keeps this up. He assures her all the faculty members know who she is, except the principal. Oscar also admits he didn't grade any of her essays because he thought they had chemistry between them. He made Professor Marcus grade all of them, who thinks Tony has great potential. Murrow gives Mickey and Noah instructions about the debate, and Mickey chooses to go first. Noah asks if she's free on Monday, which seems like a distraction tactic to Kate. But he clarifies that his friend Gary has arranged for a screening of The Lord of the Rings. He ruined it for her that day and wants to make up for it. She thinks that's sweet and thanks him before they move to the podium. Mickey thanks Noah for changing her mind about what she needs to do for the debate that night. She also apologizes to Hugo on stage for being very mean to him. She knows they're supposed to debate romance and destroy each other. She thinks that itself proves they don't know what they're talking about. She doesn't think love is about crushing each other or tearing someone down. She thinks it's not about winning or losing either. She feels it's more about communication. She thinks love is for everyone's best. She proposes that they skip the debate and have a conversation instead about love. Noah agrees to join her, and they ask the crowd about what they think love is. While Yolanda thinks it's God, Eve thinks it might be about the sacrifice her grandfather made to come to this country. He wanted his family to have a better life. Kate turns to leave from backstage because she thinks everything is under control. She feels they can stop pretending to like each other, but still throws a paper plane at Hugo with a message. Tony calls Oscar outside the hall, and he thinks she should be proud of her daughter. Tony wants to clear something up because of the romance topic. She brings up the point where Oscar mentioned they have chemistry. She claims it has been a while since her husband passed away, but she's still not ready yet. Oscar clarifies that he can't date her either, because she's her student, but he still asks her to not take his class next semester. Noah congratulates Mickey for getting the scholarship. He is genuinely happy for her after what she did at the debate. He's hoping they can discuss what's happening between them. Mickey claims she's not ready to date yet, but wants to start over with him with a clean slate. He asks her out for dinner, and they agree to go to a bistro. They find Hugo and Kate on a date, who ask them to get another table. They discuss their favorite archers in literature, while Noah and Mickey bond on another table. Sometime later, President Francis meets the real funder of Meadows Meats and falls in love. Chuck, the moviegoer, becomes the lead film critic for New York Times. Eve swears off love, but finds her soulmate in a Down with Romance rally. Donnie also finds peace by joining the co-ed monastery, but he is still afraid to walk alone at night through the halls. Yolanda now gets to shush senators at the Library of Congress. The security guard who banned Kate from the theater for a lifetime turns out to be a hobbit, who lives for 187 years. Professor Johnson still teaches elementary ed, but doesn't allow people to make paper planes. Murrow is happy after canceling the romance column in the school paper. Linda, who pranked Tony with Oscar, gets a full-time acting gig. Tony and Oscar are happy because she didn't take his class next semester. The fate of Noah, Kate, Hugo, and Mickey is still unknown.